Hello dear students, in this lesson we are going to talk about a few more questions based on bearings. Students, it's made possible that sometimes we are given certain bearings in the question, but we may have to figure out reverse or back bearings. Means we need to change the reference point. For example, this time they given bearing of point B from A. It means that initially the reference point is A. But on the other hand, they said calculate the bearings of A from B. Means preposition from just came before B. It means B now became the reference point. So if I now redraw the situation again, I'll just draw the bigger diagram here. So we have first of all one point A and the other point we have is B, and we are given bearings of point B from A initially to be 70 degree. So this is the original situation given to you. Let me just draw that. This is how the north line is given in the upward direction, and okay, so this is my north line and the 2 points are connected like this, and the given angle here is 70 degree. But now there's a twist in the question. Now question says get the bearing of A point from point B. It means simply we need to consider B to be the reference point. And students, as you know that if B is my reference point, I should draw a north line right on the point B. So I'm just going to draw another north line here on point B, and from here I want an angle in the clockwise direction that can connect or that can be measured to terminal line BA. So what I need here, I need an angle which is in the clockwise direction right from this north line which we just created. This is still a north line, so that angle has to be figured out, students. Okay, so as students, you guys are aware of the quadrant. If we consider a line just opposite to the given north line here on B, this must definitely be equal to 180 degree. If I just consider this line. So students, this much angle is 180 degree, and now what we can consider, there's a concept of, because as you see both the lines we consider here are the north lines. So if we have two north lines like this, or just two lines which are parallel, because both of them are north line, they're pointing towards north direction, it means they must be parallel. And if there exists a transversal that intersects them, so we get a pair of alternate interior angles. So in that way, we can consider this much angle to be also 70 degree. So I can just mark that particular angle, means this angle over here is still equal to 70 degree. On the other hand, the angle which is just on a straight line is 180 degree. We can consider the angle just here right from this north line to the opposite dashed line is 180 degree. So 180 plus 70 must be 250 degree, and that should be the answer. So the bearings of point A from B is going to be 180 plus 70, that's going to be 250 degree. And why this is 70? Because it makes a pair of alternate interior angles in between two parallel lines. Why parallel? Because both of the lines are kind of parallel lines because they are facing upwards towards north direction. Let's try one more question here. Let's suppose we are given a question in which bearings of point Q from P is given, and you need to get the bearings of point P from Q. So again, students, as usual, what you have to do, from the reference point only, you have to draw a north line. Now Q, because question said from Q, means Q has become the reference point, so I must draw a north line on point Q, and I just want an angle which is in the clockwise direction. So that should be simple here. We want this angle that I don't know currently, but I can get it very easily. So first of all, students, as you notice here, this angle is 210 degree, and you guys know around a point the total angle is 360 degree. So remaining angle here is equal to 360 minus 210. Let me subtract that. I get 150 degree. So means this angle is 150 degree. And students, once we get this angle, we again have a concept of parallel lines, that if the two lines are parallel, a transversal intersects them. So the angles made on the same side in the interior area are called consecutive interior angles, and their sum has to be equal to 180 degree. So these co-interior or consecutive interior angles are supplementary. So in that way, if one of the angle is 150 degree, say one of them is 150 degree, the other angle can easily be obtained by just simplifying this equation. That becomes 30 degree. So this angle now became 30 degree, and that's my target. Bearings of point P from the reference point Q is 30 degree. But just one thing you need to consider, that you have to represent bearings in 3 figures. So 0, 3, 0 is your answer. That's it in this question. Let's continue with a bit next level question that may need a trigonometry. SOHCAHTOA is a trick that we often use in trigonometry, in right angle trigonometry. So we can quickly go through this question. If you haven't read trigonometry yet, don't worry, you will learn it in the upcoming lessons. So first of all, students, we are given that there is a ship that sails 7 km due east from a point P. So from, again, you often see a preposition from in the bearing questions. So we can first of all consider that there exists a point P somewhere. Let me just draw that somewhere here. There exists a point P, and a ship sails 7 km due east. So students, in direction system, if we are going to consider north line facing upwards, so definitely south line must be opposite to that, and east line must be considered towards right, and west is towards left to the north line, like this: north, south, east, west. So we can follow this culture. From point P, we have to first of all travel towards the direction 7 km due east, means exactly 90 degree, right? There is no doubt, because 90 degree, first of all, we draw a north line somewhere here. This is the north line, and we need to move due east, means towards 90 degree angle, 7 km. No scale is needed. We simply draw an angle or just a line like this, and we can imagine that is to be 7 km. This length is 7 km, and then it sails 3 km due south from point A. So we reached to the point A first of all here. Let me now draw that point. So we have a point here somewhere, okay, and from the point A, it sails 3 km due south from A to point B. So we consider somewhere here again from A, this is east, and we'll have a sharp south direction, that is again 90 degree. So we can consider right underneath, or just towards the downward direction, right from A. This is gonna be point B now. So we have point A somewhere here. This is my point B, and this distance they given to be 3 km. We need to get the bearings of B from A. So first of all, to get bearings of B from A, we need to connect point P and B. Now the target is anyhow to get this entire angle right from here to here. Now the good thing is, we already know that north direction makes an angle of 90 degree with the south direction. So it means that this much angle is 90 degree is known. Okay, we only need this much angle. I can just mark here in a different color. So I want this much angle, right? To get this much angle, students, we can use trigonometry. We can use, suppose this angle is theta. Theta is a Greek symbol that we often use in mathematics. Okay, and if you have learned trigonometry, you must know that for this angle theta, we have an opposite side and there is an adjacent side. There is a formula for tan of theta, that is opposite over adjacent. Okay, because opposite and adjacent comes in tan only. So we consider, okay, tan of theta is going to be equal to 3 over 7, and we want theta not tan theta, so we'll bring tan to the other side. That becomes tan inverse 3 over 7, and for that, students, we need to use a calculator. If you want to get the answer in degrees, set your calculator in degree mode, otherwise you will get an answer in radians. When I use my calculator to evaluate it, I get somewhere around 23.2, and that's equivalent to 23 degree. Okay, so the answer is not going to be 23 because we want this complete angle, and that's going to be 90 plus 23. That's going to be 113 degree. Okay, so bearings of point B from P is going to be 113 degree. So that's your final answer. I hope it's clear, students. So that's it in this lesson. See you next time. Till then, bye bye. Take care.